Amadioha's appearance and origins within the celestial world of Alkebulan were always enshrouded in mystery, mystery that even the elder gods found difficult to unravel. His mere existence evoked fear, not solely due to his immense power, tenacity and strength, but due to the very obscurity of his beginnings. Few understood the true nature of this god, whose essence seemed older and deeper than creation itself. In reality, Amadioha was more than just a deity. He was a primordial force, one of two fundamental beings that defined reality, the sky and the earth. As Ayla embodied the earth and feminine essence, Amadioha was the sky, representing the divine masculine. They were the two great pillars of existence, born from the thoughts of Chukwu, architect of fate, who envisioned a universe bound by perfect balance. Through the eons, these two primordial forces developed personalities, eventually manifesting cosmic and corporeal forms. Amadioha's transition from a mere concept to a living god occurred during the catastrophic war against the anti-creator, a battle so intense it shook the very foundations of reality. It was then that the divine enforcer descended, crafting an avatar from the purest cosmic lightning, giving birth to the entity known as Amadioha. When the enforcer sealed the anti-creator away, Amadioha inherited not just a body, but consciousness, personality, and free will. He was a being forged by necessity, molded by cosmic purpose. Yet, following this monumental victory, Amadioha vanished mysteriously, leaving even the elder gods bewildered by his absence. Time passed until he made a quiet return during the formative years of Madinga, a young god whose journey was pivotal to the history of Alkebulan. Madinga, seeking truth and purpose, ascended a sacred mountain, a site of raw divine energy, rumored to be the original forge where the creator gods crafted the elder gods themselves. Upon that sacred peak, he encountered a solitary figure shrouded in mystery. The being introduced himself simply as Amadioha, a god untouched by time, recovering from the immense cosmic conflict he had recently endured. Madinga found the god enigmatic, his words cryptic yet undeniably significant. "You seem troubled," Amadioha had spoken, his voice carrying the rumble of distant storms. "What brings you to this sacred mountain?" "I seek answers and evidence of the enforcer," Madinga had replied cautiously, the awe evident in his eyes. "Answers about justice, balance, and my place in this celestial realm." Amadioha's eyes had sparked softly, a mixture of interest and distant amusement. "Justice and balance," he repeated, his voice a reflective murmur. Concepts easier spoken of than truly grasped. Yet they form the very fabric that holds existence together. "I feel I carry a burden," Madinga confessed openly, the weight of his destiny pressing visibly upon him. "A burden placed upon me by circumstances I never chose." "Perhaps," Amadioha's tone softened, a faint smile forming on his lips. "But the greatest of burdens often carry the greatest of purposes. In time, you will understand." They spoke for a very long time. Madinga taught and told Amadioha lots of things about the celestial kingdom of Alkebulan and, of course, the elder gods. Amadioha, in return, told Madinga the real location where the enforcer descended. Their encounter had left Madinga puzzled. It was only later, as his own journey unfolded and his powers blossomed into something extraordinary, that Madinga realized who this Amadioha truly was, the embodiment of the enforcer's power, a cosmic being whose very existence transcended traditional godhood. When two elder gods fell by Madinga's hand, and he himself ascended into realms unknown, Amadioha once again descended from his isolated mountain sanctuary, choosing for the first time to engage openly with the divine community. Driven by curiosity and a hunger for challenges, he soon became both celebrated and feared among the gods. He wandered Alkebulan, seeking powerful opponents, eager to test the limits of his formidable strength. Gods whispered his name in reverence and dread, acknowledging his supremacy with both admiration and caution. His path of battles and dominance continued, unchallenged, until the fateful event at Zalunda, where he was destined to cross paths with two pivotal figures, Udo, son of the legendary Madinga, and a rising god known simply as the Trickster. Little did he know, this meeting at Zalunda would become the catalyst for events that would shake Alkebulan to its core, redefining alliances, destinies, and even the balance of creation itself. The Trickster's origin. Far from Amadioha's enigmatic ascent and unstoppable rise, the destiny of another being was slowly unraveling, a god whose existence would soon twist fate in ways unimaginable. Born as Alumo, he entered the celestial realms not as a deity of cunning and deceit, but as the privileged heir of the illustrious Akuma family. Among Alkebulan's noble celestial bloodlines, none rivaled the Akuma family in terms of power, affluence, or unyielding loyalty to the elder gods. Their vast wealth and divine strength stemmed directly from immense celestial facilities, monolithic structures designed to harvest mortal prayers, converting them into pure divine energy. To the celestial realms, these facilities represented power and prosperity. To the enslaved, lower-tier gods who maintained them, they were symbols of oppression and injustice. Despite this prestigious lineage, Alumo's own divine essence appeared deceptively humble. Born only with the subtle art of illusion, he was overshadowed completely by his younger sister, Akinta, a prodigy whose command over the winds and limited mind control marked her as the pride of their family. Alumo, viewed by many as a disappointing heir, was tormented by his inadequacy, haunted by an inferiority complex that festered into paranoia. His only redemption lay in the desperate pursuit of power, driven by the obsessive fear that Akinta would soon replace him entirely. Pathetic, he often cursed himself, eyes reflecting the simmering envy and growing desperation within. I will not be surpassed, not by her, not by anyone. For years, Alumo served diligently in the Council of Elder Gods, assisting in administrative tasks, hoping to prove his worth through loyalty and cunning. Yet, his careful attempts at recognition remained overshadowed by his family's vast divine resources, until two cataclysmic events completely shattered his already fragile world. The first disaster struck swiftly, mercilessly. Madinga's rebellion targeted and obliterated the sacred facilities central to the Akuma family's divine power. Alumo could only watch, powerless, as his family's fortune and influence crumbled overnight. Consumed by hate, he fixated his blame squarely upon Madinga, the rebel whose rise had brought ruin upon his once great house. Bitterness rooted deeply in his heart, a seed of vengeance quietly taking shape. But fate was not finished with its cruel twists. Driven by pride and desperation to restore their lost honor, Akuma himself, Alumo's father and head of their proud house, challenged the now infamous Amadioha to a duel. To Akuma, defeating Amadioha would mean regaining favor with the elder gods, restoring their family's waning reputation, and securing power once again. On the day of the fateful duel, the skies darkened ominously above Alkebulan's celestial arena. Crowds gathered, anxious yet eager, sensing the gravity of the moment. Amadioha stood casually, yet imposing, his figure outlined by flickers of latent lightning, eyes calm but alert. Akuma, confident yet desperate, approached him, his divine presence powerful but tense. Their clash began quickly and ended just as swiftly. Amadioha's superior strength effortlessly overwhelming Akuma. Each of Akuma's attempts met swift defeat, yet his pride refused surrender. "You've already lost," Amadioha warned him firmly, stepping back after yet another effortless counter. "This battle is meaningless. Go, grow stronger, then return." Yet Akuma's wounded pride overpowered his reason. He rose again, fury blazing, ignoring his opponent's generosity. "I cannot yield. I must restore my family's honor." Amadioha turned to leave, disinterested in continuing a duel already decisively won. In that moment, blinded by desperation and humiliation, Akuma unleashed the Akuma family's forbidden secret, a lethal technique combining water, mist, and ice. His intent now lethal, he charged forward in reckless fury. "Face me, Amadioha!" Akuma roared defiantly, his body wreathed in ice and mist. "If you dare!" Suddenly, danger filled the air. Amadioha, sensing the shift, reacted instinctively. For the first time in the duel, he allowed his divine power to surface, summoning forth divine lightning. A brilliant, terrifying display surged forth, cosmic electricity that crackled violently as it met Akuma's water and ice. "No!" Alumo shouted desperately from the stands, watching helplessly. But it was too late. The moment Akuma's watery assault combined with Amadioha's lightning, the energy tripled instantly, becoming catastrophic. Akuma was engulfed in an explosive surge of divine electricity, his screams silenced instantly as his body became nothing more than a charred silhouette upon the celestial floor. An eerie silence filled the arena. The Akuma family watched, horror-stricken and speechless. Alumo's world shattered completely. His father's death forever burned into his memory, fueling an endless well of pain and fury. Akinta, numb with shock, was quickly taken under the wing of Shugara shortly after the duel, the elder goddess of death, leaving Alumo utterly isolated. With nothing left but grief and bitterness, he stormed toward the divine council, desperate for vengeance. "I demand justice!" Alumo roared, facing the indifferent faces of the elder gods. "My father was murdered by Amadioha. Execute him!" Yet the elder gods hesitated, wary of openly challenging the now feared Amadioha. Only after relentless pleading and reminding them of his family's unquestionable loyalty did they reluctantly summon Amadioha to a hearing. In the grand celestial chamber, Amadioha stood calmly, facing the charges with a calm confidence that unnerved everyone present. "You killed Akuma during a duel," one elder god accused sternly. "You know the sacred law forbids killing." "I defended myself," Amadioha replied, his voice steady and assured. "Akuma chose death when he unleashed lethal force upon me. I merely reacted." The elder gods exchanged uneasy glances, unwilling to condemn or challenge the formidable god. "Is this justice?" Alumo screamed, his composure shattering. "He murdered my father, yet you sit in silence, afraid of him." Fury overtook reason. Alumo lashed out recklessly at Amadioha. Instantly and effortlessly, Amadioha pinned him to the ground, a display of overwhelming dominance. "Do you see your folly now, Alumo?" Amadioha asked, quietly yet powerfully. The elder gods care nothing for justice, only their own power. Panic filled Alumo's eyes as he pleaded silently with the elder gods, desperately hoping for intervention. Yet they remained still, unmoving and indifferent. That single moment shattered Alumo completely. Hatred, resentment, and humiliation intertwined within his heart, giving birth to something darker, colder, and infinitely more dangerous. "I swear to you all," Alumo hissed bitterly, glaring at both Amadioha and the elder gods with fierce intensity. "You will pay for this betrayal." With those final words, Alumo departed from their halls forever. Driven by fury and obsession, he vanished into the shadows, seeking power, seeking vengeance. Unbeknownst to him, he soon attracted attention from a being even darker than himself, one imprisoned yet watchful, seeking freedom and opportunity, the anti-creator. Alumo vanished from the celestial city, his heart filled with an insatiable fury that burned hotter than a star. Driven by humiliation and grief, he wandered the shadowed realms beyond Alkebulan, places untouched by even divine light. For days and weeks, his solitary journey led him through regions unspoken and unseen, until he stood before the ruins of a temple older than memory, a forgotten sanctuary half consumed by the creeping tendrils of dark vegetation. Within this ruin, Alumo felt a strange presence, something ancient, something that resonated with his profound bitterness. Stepping carefully into the gloom, he heard a voice that whispered softly from the darkness itself, chilling and magnetic in equal measure. "You've come a long way, Alumo," the voice whispered gently, its tones alluring yet ominous, "seeking power, vengeance, purpose." "Who are you?" Alumo demanded, eyes narrowing as he scanned the shadows, trying to locate the source of the voice. "Who I am matters less than what I offer," the voice replied calmly. "I have been watching you closely, your pain, your anger, your desire for justice. I can grant you the strength you seek." Alumo hesitated, skeptical yet intrigued. "How?" "Find the first fragment of anti-creation," the entity instructed. "It is a shard of true primordial power, long hidden from the elder gods, capable of reshaping destiny itself. I will guide you." In that moment, Alumo made a choice, an irrevocable step into darkness. His quest for vengeance became intertwined with the sinister ambitions of the imprisoned anti-creator, an entity patiently waiting for someone capable of breaking its bonds. Together, they formed a long-term plan, one driven by darkness and bitterness, destined to set the cosmos ablaze. Alumo searched tirelessly, following whispers, half-forgotten prophecies, and cryptic guidance. His journeys took him to dangerous places, where existence itself blurred into chaos. Eventually, guided by the anti-creator, Alumo's relentless search led him to an isolated fragment of reality, a dark pocket of existence, hidden from even the elder gods themselves. There, floating in emptiness, was the first fragment of anti-creation, a crystalline shard pulsating with unimaginable power, radiating chaos and potential in equal measure. Alumo grasped the fragment, feeling its raw energy flood into him instantly. Pain surged through his body, yet so did immense, intoxicating strength, power enough to threaten even the gods. His once weak abilities of illusion twisted into terrifying powers of manipulation and deception, magnified immeasurably by the fragment's dark influence. "You are now ready," the voice of the anti-creator whispered, satisfied yet hungry. "With this power, you can bring down those who betrayed you. Continue seeking the remaining fragments, and soon we both shall be free." From that day forward, Alumo ceased to be merely Alumo. He became the Trickster, a deity whose cunning, power, and ruthlessness now rivaled even the most formidable of gods. Yet despite his newfound strength, Alumo remained haunted by the humiliation he had faced at the hands of the elder gods and Amadioha. His obsession with vengeance consumed him entirely, driving him onward to reclaim the respect and fear he believed he deserved. Years later, under the guise of subtle illusions and carefully woven lies, the Trickster infiltrated divine society again, quietly building connections and positioning himself strategically within the celestial realm. One night, by pure chance or perhaps fate, he found himself in Zalunda, a lively celestial bar crowded with powerful gods, warriors, and wayfarers seeking refuge from the weight of destiny.